Hello everyone, my name is Navjot and I welcome you all on my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I will show you how you can create Windows services in Microsoft Visual Studio. So let's get started. First of all, we need to open Microsoft Visual Studio. So I will type Visual Studio. In my PC, the Visual Studio version is 2022. You may have a different kind of version for the Visual Studio. Now I will click on here, create a new project. In the create new project window, you will have several options to choose a different type of project as per your needs. So right now we are making a Windows service project. So I will type here Windows service. So as soon as I type Windows Service in the search bar, I will get the options of Windows Service related projects. As soon as I type Windows Service in the search bar, I will get the list of all the projects that are related to Windows Service. So I'm making a Windows Service project in C# language. So make sure you will select this option, Windows Services .NET Framework in C#. Click on this and then click on Next. After that, you can name your project. So let me uh, change this project name to my Windows service. Okay, and one thing you have to understand that this is the project name. This is not your service name or any internal file name. This is just the name of your Visual Studio project. Now there's a check mark here, checkbox here, which shows that place solution and project in the same directory. So here's an example what it will do. If you select this, then these two duplicate entries like my Windows services and there is a subdirectory with the same name, this will get eliminated. So I will select this. I will select the appropriate .NET framework version. Then I will click on create. So we can see here there's a message which is showing creating project my Windows service project creation successful. Okay, and here are the files that are created by Microsoft Visual Studio for our Windows service project. Now the first step that we have to do is to add the installer. So in service1.cs design tab, I will right click and click on add installer. After the installer is added, you will see that there's a change in the file system. After adding installer, you will see that there are few files added in your solution explorer. So now what we have to do, I will right click here and click on view code. So after clicking on view code, I will get this page. Let me just close this window. Okay, so this is the file that we will have after clicking on view source code. Now there is a method defined inside the project installer which is known as initialize component. What we need to do, take your cursor here, right click, and what you have to do, we have to go to definition. You can also press F12 to do the same. Now we have to add few lines here. Let me enter them one by one and then I will explain you what they do. This statement is giving our service a permission to run on our local system. There are several other options you can define here. Right now I wish to run this service on my local system. That's why I have typed here local system. So I have added two lines here. This line actually adds a description for your Windows service, and the next line will add a display name for your Windows service. In the description, I have typed my first Windows service. You can change this to anything, and also you can change the display name. I have typed my Windows service. Now there's another option here, which is your service name. So by default, when you create a new Windows service project in Visual Studio, this name, that is service 1, is given to the service. So if you have a service which is already installed in your PC with the same name, it's better to change this name. So let me change this name to, let's say, service 23, let's say, for example. Okay, so these are the few changes that we have made here. Now what you have to do, click on service1.cs design and right click on view code. Now after clicking on view code, you will get this file which is service1.cs. So I'm inside this file, and inside this file you will see that there are basically three methods. The first one is your constructor, which is service1. The second thing is your onStart method, and the third one is your onStop method. In this file, that is service1.cs, we will define our actual code, that is the function of our service, what our service will do after the installation and after the starting of the service. So we can literally write anything depending on our logic and the requirements that I want to create a Windows service. This is as per your needs. Right now I'm making a very simple example. What I will do, I will type a text in a .txt file which will get updated when we start the service and when we close the service. So let me define a method here which will write something to that file. I have created a variable here with the name path which will store a path of my text file. So I have made another folder inside my main project working directory, and I've created a logs folder which will hold my txt file. This if statement basically checks if this directory exists or not. So if this directory do not exist, then this statement will execute, which will create this path. In this statement, I have assigned the name for my file. My file will display with the name myservicefile.txt. Now I have to check, just like in the case of the folder, if the folder already exists, then do not create it. If it doesn't exist, then we will create a folder with the statement. Similarly, we will also do this for file as well. So we have created our function write to file, which will help us to write text messages in a file. And now what I will do, I will call this method write to file in onStart and onStop methods. Now onStart is called when the service is started and onStop when the service is stopped. So I will just simply type write to file and let me just enter simple thing like service is started. Similarly, what I will do, I will call this method write to file that we have just created, and here I will type service stopped. So we are done with our coding part. The next thing that we have to do is to build this project. So I will click on build and I will click on rebuild solution. And you can see that we have successfully built our application. Now you might know already that in order to run the Windows service, we have to first install it on our local system. So what I will do, I will install our Windows service to our local system. And in order to do that, what I will do, I need to open my command prompt and I will open it as an administrator. Now, the first thing that we have to do is to go to the .NET Framework directory. So, depending on system, you need to visit your .NET directory. In my PC, it is located as I am tapping the location of my .NET Framework. Now I am inside my .NET Framework directory. Now, what we have to do, let me minimize the command prompt and let me open this project in the File Explorer. So right click on this your Windows Service project name and click on open folder in File Explorer. Now as soon as you open your Windows Service project in File Explorer, you will see these kinds of options. Now what you have to do, go on binary, then debug, and here is our Windows Service file. Now what we have to do, we need to install this file, and in order to install this file, there's a command which is known as install util. So what I will do, I will type install util .exe, and then I have to actually copy this path. I'll click on copy, and I will enter my Windows Service file name, that is my Windows Service with the extension of .exe. Then hit enter. Now you can see our Windows service has been successfully installed. Now in order to check the service list, what we will do, we will open the run, and inside run what we need to type, we will type services.msc. Here we have to look for our service. So our service name was my first service. Let us see if it is present here. Yeah, my Windows service is present here with the description name my first Windows service. This shows that our Windows service has been successfully installed. Now in order to start the service, there is an option here is to start the service. You can also right click on your service and click on start. Now before clicking on start, let me show you something. This is our Solution Explorer window where our files are stored, our project files are stored. Now as soon as I start this service, see our service has been started and its status is now running. If I minimize this window, then you will see that a log folder is created as per our instruction in the program. If I open this folder, inside this folder we will see a file which is my service file as the name we specified during the programming. And if I open this file, you will see service started, which means the onStart method is executed. Now let me go again in the services.msc. If I stop this service, right click on it and click on stop, our services is being stopped. Now let me close this file and again I will open this. See, now there's another line added which is service stopped. Okay, so this is the simple example that how Windows service work. You can basically modify this code according to your needs and requirements. What you have to do, you have to just change the service1.cs file. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something new. Please don't forget to hit the like button, share with your friends and subscribe to the channel for the latest tech updates. We will meet in next video. Take care. Goodbye.